Now, the gold is real simple desaturated golds workup. And so for that, remember desaturation just means like black, white, values, grayscale infiltrated the hue. So this is really easy. We're taking ochre, which is basically a yellow. If you really just squint your eyes, that's gold without glitter in it, right? And then the desaturation comes from the fact that black is what makes it darker sometimes. White is what makes it brighter sometimes, but also sometimes just dropping everything. But also, if you want to really understand what's happening here, is it's not just a simple matter of blacking up the ochre and whitening up the ochre. That's not just always what desaturation is about. Sometimes it is literally gray ochre is another really easy way to think about it. And I'll walk you through it real quick. Let me rinse. I'm just cleaning off my brush right here. Just a little bit of soap on it. So if you look at the, so if you take black and you add white to it, it's gray, right? So the second you put this hue in there, we're desaturated now. Okay, so this is more accurate to the way of thinking about it. It's more like instead of this color getting darker and brighter, it's more like this color is getting darker and brighter. You see? That's more of an accurate way of putting it together in your brain. Now, you don't need to put out a pile of gray and pre-desaturate it. This is kind of just what's happening in there, right? These two are combining to create our desaturated version of this, and then you push it to either side of that spectrum. You know what I'm saying? And so we're keeping it real simple, right? We're not using hardly anything else. Now, for this workup, we do squirt a little orange in there, so they consider the orange like adjacent, right, to this. So the orange's job is just to kind of hold the line a little bit, and that's it. It's not a huge contributing factor here. So just to walk everyone through, when you're doing non-metal metallic, especially on just things like trim like this, you see how we already blocked everything in kind of like the dark version of this, right? Kind of just like this kind of shit brown, just kind of blocked everything in. So I know everything is already this color, so all we have to do is remember the tri-blend. Okay, and so I like to make the brighter parts like where the sharp turns are, so like right here. And we're not even blending it, we're just doing a hard, it's dark, it's bright, okay? It's dark again, it's bright again. And so that's the alternating tri-blend, right? Dark, bright, dark, bright. Then it's going to be dark here, and then probably bright right here in the center. See? And so I like to lay it down just real quick. And we're probably going to just do center bright on this side. Just block them in, okay? Don't even worry about any kind of in real time blending. And so the more subtle you are with the blocking, the more like blending it looks. I'm just using my number 4 right now to do some quick laydown, and then I'll be switching to my little brush here in a second. And since I'm here, just lock it in real quick. See it, and it's just dark, bright, alternating. Now I'm going to rinse that brush. Aquila, tardy to the party. What's up, brother? So, let's switch downgrade to our 18.0 just for ease. And we're going to move into some of the smaller stuff. And I'm going to also take a moment to reinforce how bright we are. See, just up in the ante real quick. See, just being subtle. We're mostly opaque. Now see this little guy right here, we're just going to kind of give it a clean edge highlight and not really worry about it. Right here. Quick edge highlights right there, nothing too crazy. Back over here. We're using just some heart pull strokes right here. Gently pulling back to our body. Again, we're just going to kind of edge highlight this. We're not really going to worry too much about it. Up here on the shoulders, let's get a little bit more of our spectrum, and you can kind of just remix it on the fly. I'm going to push it a little bit more aggressively, I think. I don't got time to sit here and wait for really subtle ass paint workups to begin. Got a little in the blue there, to be expected. So just popping. Okay, now with a little bit more aggression, we'll run back in right here. There's our center. A little bit on the side right there. Little trim that you can see poking out right there. A couple quick highlights right there. Let's come in here from some nice center lines right here. Right there. Probably, no, that's fine. A little bit right here. And we're not even blending, guys. We're just deploying solid, opaque heart pulls. Maybe it's like semi-transparent, but like it's mostly opaque. Okay, and this is honestly the easy part. So easy. So let's push a little harder, closer to white. Right here. Right here. We're just skinning up the line a little bit, you see? And that's kind of part of the trick. I'm going to go back in time a little bit because I should put some here. And part of the trick is being willing to go to close to white will make things look shinier. Using the heart pull trick to keep my line straight. Right there. Let's come to the inside track. I feel like I missed a step here. That's fine. You see, we can kind of just do them all at the same time. And really, the procedure is just simple, man. It's just this tri-blend concept on these easy to paint trim panels. Now, here's a little piece of trim that didn't get any color on it. We just got to kind of finish that up. Okay, got a good foundation. And what we want to do now is maybe blur it up. So all you have to do is kind of look at the cross section in there, like where the tide lines are. So we know that something like this is already what's there as a base. So we just need to kind of make this a little bit brighter by using our puddle here. You see? And we're just going to kind of cut right here, semi-opaque and a little wet. Go a little brighter. Back in time, go a little darker. And we're just doing these straight little lines. And while I'm there, I'll grab a little black. The closer to black you're willing to go and the closer to white, the shinier you say it is. Okay. So now we're going to move over to this little panel. Same deal. Get kind of back to the beginning. A little bit brighter though. Semi-opaque and a little wet. A little bit brighter. Okay, let's run back and grab some black. Blur that. So look at all this like bonus blurring. Okay, super easy. Go back in time. Maybe a little brighter like we said. Just gonna work that tide line right here. Keep it wet. Go a little brighter, kind of just use your eyes to kind of try to match that tide line. A little brighter. Maybe a little bit wetter. Go back in time. There you go. Nice little smooth line. Too easy. Apex King in the chat. What up, brother? No, so I'm just going to try to like finish this viewing angle. So let's go to pretty much pure white. Right there. See, we're doing a little heart pull. Right there. Right there. Now, again, this viewing angle, let's grab some of the ochre and some of the white. We're trying to be deliberately brighter. High opacity, low moisture. And what you need to really lock it in is a clean edge. So we're going to use the tracer technique. Hold your breath, swing it from right to left. Just kind of skirt that rail right there. And you'll see this is where the magic really happens. This is also on trim what is hard. Because on this side of the trim, you see it's much more difficult to trace it. See, you have this tiny shelf here. The thing is, I haven't pin washed the white yet, so this is a good order of operations because if I get this paint on the white, I have a step still to clean it up. But oftentimes this step will require you to do a little back and forth. So there I'm using a heart pull. So you have to be willing to take it to, like, you know, as white as it needs to go. But creating that frame is really where the magic comes from. And you can get away with the tracer on a lot of that. Okay. This ledge right here could use a little bit of love. And we're going to have to clean that line up just a little bit. Now here's where it gets hard, is like right here where it's butting up against his thumb. You got to just get in there and draw it. That's the tricky part. Now you also have to get all the nuts. Like here in the dark area, it's easy, but first what we need to do is we need to wash our nuts before we get too crazy. So let's go back, get some black, get some orange. Let's kind of get something kind of nice and dark here, get it kind of wet. Maybe a little more orange for fun. Semi-opaque and just a little wet. And we're going to just sewing machine stroke right on the nuts. Now in the darker areas, a little bit more on the black side. But we still have a little like edge highlight mistake up in there. So let's just go and try to color match it and fix it right here. Now we want to go back to high opacity, low moisture, or something bright, and we want to just touch these nuts. So you want to make sure you don't have a lot of moisture on the tip here. There we go. There we go. Rottweiler, my dude. Can we get some strong man love in chat for Rottweiler? Rottweiler, I'm just using a little bit of white right now to reinforce some of my little edges here. As you can see, can I get some strong man love in that chat for a trogdor gif? Do a little non-metal metallic. Says, fuck you, Frozen Talon, much love. Ooh, nice. Nice. Now check it out. Let's get a little bit, let's just finish up this viewing angle, Rottweiler. I'm going to take some water right here. Just going to get some of that yellow off. So this whole workup is just grayscale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to almost white. So basically this is just a light gray, semi-opaque and a little wet, and we're going to just try to draw some lines in here. And this is a classic pin wash strategy of using semi-transparent paint with a little bit of moisture and trying to use the heart pull strategy to just drag in that gutter, in that shelf, and get a respectful border established. And it can be a little fat because we have to oppose it still. So right there, I'm just trying to get that border, you see? Now, it looks a little aggressive, but just hold on for 1 second. Let's grab that white now. Okay, try to keep it high opacity, low moisture, and let's do a heart pull right here. Rotate the model. A heart pull, rotate the model. A heart pull right there. Curves like this are a little trickier, so just be willing to do several small lines here. Heart pull, rotate, heart, rotate. And see, you get that extra flare. And that's where all that magic, that's where the magic happens. Disco and chat, what's up, brother? Remember, guys, at me if you got questions. I may miss them otherwise. I'm going to take some of this white since I have it. Run a quick highlight there. Here. Here. And in these little small areas, I'll grab some of the gray again. Just kind of clean it up a little bit. There we go. So you can see, very easy to do actually. So if you're just tuning in for the first time and you're curious about any of this non-metal metallic effects, trim like this is like thick trim pieces like this on a Carnage King model. Pop Goes the Monkey Special is one of the easiest ways to impress your friends with your advanced blending skills. Which, as you just watched me do, are almost non-existent for this style. This just takes that edge highlighting skill, like that heart pull strategy, and opaque and semi-opaque paint. So let's see if we can get inside here, okay, and reproduce our inside track. So you see where we just have the shit brown and the highlight right there. So we know, again, going back to our diagram, gray plus ochre is desaturated ochre with more black in it, some orange, and this is where you get your shit brown from, right? And then as you add white, that's our whole spectrum. That. So everything exists on that spectrum. So all you have to do is look at it and use your eyes. And you're like, okay, it's a little brighter right there, but I want to kind of blur just this line right here. So go back to your spectrum and use your eyes and just mess with it. So that blurs it a little bit. I want to get a little brighter. And we're not even blending it. We're just drawing lines that are close enough to the tide line color progressively to make it look like it's fucking blended. But it's not. And by keeping the paint semi-opaque, it secretly is blended because you can see through each sheet of glass and each layer before it informs it. So it's this like staggering blur versus just continuously doing hard opaque edges. Rottweiler coming in with 5 gifted subs to the chat. If you just got gifted a sub because of Rottweiler, show that man some love, please. 500 bonus, yo, DZs. Dark Angel's Honor. Here we go again. Follow this dude to support he supports everyone. Oh, Rottweiler? Yeah. Make sure you follow Rottweiler for sure. Now we're going to try that again right here, Rottweiler. Just going to blur it. Go a little brighter because I cut in a little, my tide line just moved a little bit. There's a little blurring right there. Now what we want to do is kind of get a nice bright center line in the highlights. Remember, the closer to white you're willing to go, the shinier the metal is. a little white right there. A little white right there. Okay? And the same is true on the dark side of the spectrum. The closer to black you're willing to go, like maybe right here, again, the more shiny the optics are. Now on the black, I like to blur it a little bit more. So we go back in time and just blur off that black. Just using our spectrum. Right there. Now, before we even edge highlight that strip, let's get a pin wash going again. We used a little bit of black, maybe a little bit of orange, a little bit of our puddle here. And what we want is semi-opaque and wet. You want to just use the tip of your brush and just stipple right on that nut. Put a little ring around it. Okay? And then you want to rinse that off your brush. You want to go back to high opacity, low moisture. Get a little bit of white and ochre together. And you want to now sewing machine stipple the nuts. And so now you got more HD quality there. Now, of course, the final step is we got to edge highlight the whole frame. Now, this one could be a little tricky because the angles are hard to access, you know, from the way it's glued in there. Rottweiler says, what blues are you using? This is just a two-piece workup. This is literally just sky blue and transparent blue. That's it. That's where that saturation comes from. Now, let's see if we can get a highlight going here, okay? So here's some ochre, some white, a little bit more white. Got to be kind of disrespectful on the non-metal metallic. Now, the hard part is really hard to actually feel confident tracing this. But if I turn the model on its side like this, it looks like I could just barely touch it. Right there. So I was able to ride that rail from this weird angle. Now let's see if I can ride it again from this angle. But his fingers are in the way, is the problem. So we had to use the tip of our brush to trace there, really carefully. But we were able to get a really straight line from that. Now down here, we're probably just got the heart pull, so we're just gonna raw dog it right now. And that's a high risk line. Now on the inside track, I may be able to turn the model a certain way that we can get a bit of a tracer from the bottom. Now, there's a viewing angle up here that has almost no love on it, so we may have to kind of just cheat this. Maybe put a highlight in right here because it looks a little bad just to be this long strip of darkness. So let's just put a subtle highlight right there using our spectrum. Okay. Now we're going to have to get our highlight back out using just some white and ochre, high opacity, low moisture. Let's see if we can trace right there. And now we have to get those nuts repainted. There we go, there we go. Love minis. Okay, I'm giving you my money so I can't eat at Long John Silver's. Oh my god. Love Minis is a hero. Thank you for the sacrifice. Can I get some strong woman love in the chat for Love Minis, the legendary mod? She says that Uber Eats will do Long John Silver's. And Love Minis, I'm going to throw a little bit of white right there. And right there. And right there. Rotate. Let's see if we can get some tracers right here. On that shelf. Now, let's think about this this white strip in here is a little aggressive still, so let's grab the white again, maybe some ochre. And let's see if we can blur that white strip just a little bit. Lower opacity. Yo, Monument, slow fuse. Coming in. Let me get some strong man and woman love in the chat for Gentastic and Jason Craze. Slow Fuse Gaming. Or Monument Hobbies. Formerly Slow Fuse. DJ Slow Fuse. Disco, isn't LJS the Americanized version of British Fish and Chips Pub? I mean, if it is, fuck that, fuck fish and chips. Gross. Jason in chat. We're just doing this pre-heresy world eater, Jason, and we're just doing this like kind of desaturated metal. You know, using, it's kind of funny because one of my favorite, you know, the way I do my Death Guard is I take, let me see what I got here. I basically take these two colors, not coal black, dark silver. What the fuck is my dark silver? I mean, I've been using it. There we go. I basically take these two colors and maybe like a bright silver, or even like white golds. I basically make like a super desaturated gold, and then I just work it up, right? And so essentially, I'm doing that without glitter paint, right? So this is like my Deathless Metal non-glitter paint edition. So I do want to work on this hand while we're here. Okay, so it's just painted black right now. I don't know if it should just be straight up metal. You know what I'm saying? Let's put a squirt of blue of sky blue down, which is my favorite blue. Well, actually, my favorite is transparent blue and sky blue. That's my favorite blue in here. Let's take some black. This is coal black. Let's take some sky blue. Some white. And let's look at what the viewing angle is here. So, it'd be sick. I have to kind of look at it for a second. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of painting just like kind of what I can see on the hands with this color. And I'm leaving plenty of black still alive. See, we repainted all the details with coal black, and that way I get to just kind of enjoy the freedom of barely having to put any coverage down right over that black, which I love. So I just want to take a gander at these fingers. and try to figure out what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want these fingers to be like harder to paint than the whole guy combined. So it's a lot of armor knuckles, but also cylinders. That's hard to say. Oh, let's try something real quick. Let's go with a real simple Dagoon. What's up, brother? I'm making it brighter, and I'm gonna start right here. Okay, I'm going like right side of center bevel with just a semi-opaque line. Like that. And over here, let's use this bevel instead. Right here. Here. Okay, so I'm looking at them as like kind of like cylinders for now. And we're just doing a quick tracer right here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blur off that line a little bit that we just created. Go back in time just a little bit. A little darker. Something like that. Okay. Now, this side, let's go back to pure black. And let's try to oppose that center bevel. Pure black. On the bottom, you see? Right here. All right, all right. Let's keep the trend going with this black. And let's see if we can drop a couple pin washes off. Like I said, I don't want these claws to be this like nightmare. So let's put a nice strong border between each segment of his gauntlet here. Semi-opaque, a little wet. Tight, tight. Rinse that brush up. FH. FHQWHGAWDZ. That's right. Something gods. It says, how would you tackle Pearl White power weapon effect? I mean, I wouldn't. Like, why? Like, I feel like objectively it would look bad. So I have put zero thought into that. I feel like there's like way easier and more sick ways. You know what I'm saying? Let's jump in now. Let's get brighter and more opaque. Okay. So now this is the tricky part. We're gonna have to draw some sick lines. So that's a little tracer technique. Be cognizant of your tip penetration. But if you fuck it up, you can always reestablish the black line. Okay. Now rotate. Let's see if we can get a quick tracer right here. We're leaning that brush way back. And I shouldn't see if that bevels enough, and it's really not, so that's kind of a mistake. We're getting some distorted lines. So I feel like I just have to manually do this with the heart pull. Oh, that one came out okay. The bottom is important though. So we can probably get a little tracer going here. Getting that like bottom cap. So now we're getting a nice like low effort kind of cylinder shine on these claws. And it's really just like edge highlighting strategies. It's not even really. I mean, they are a little. They are tricky because of the size, and we are gonna have to fake some lines to be a little bit girthier. Like right here, I need this line to be thicker. So we're gonna use the heart pull. And we need a little bit more white right here using the hard pull again. Keeping it bright. Now we probably can just get away with a quick, just straight edge highlight on these claws right here, without really thinking about their shape. Let's rinse the brush down. Voodoo Bubble Gumbo in chat. What up, player? Let's get some black again, Voodoo. And I gotta fix this spot right here. So my edge highlight got out of bounds. Now this thumb is important, right? Because this thumb is showing a lot of skin. Okay? So you probably want to just gently approach this thumb talon. Give it some nice clean edges. Just using that tracing technique. And I feel like, yeah, you can see the box of the armor thumb right here. You got to really box that out. You may have to cheat it down here with a heart pull. I may have to go back to black to work that out. Tracer right there. Let's grab some more white. See if we can get a clean white line right there, right there. Right there. There we go. That wasn't too tricky. Now let's go back in time, because there's like a little bullshit ass detail right here, it's like a part where his fingers actually go into the glove. And it's actually like over the thumb, I think, a little bit. Let's run it back to this angle right here. So now that we have like a really dark gray here, we have to think about what this pad is. This, you know, it's typically rubber, right? Like it's like a rubber thingy. So we have this like cool blue here, and I feel like it's bad contrast to paint that the same spectrum. That the rest of this is in. Let me get the color balance right. On. Like that. All right. Yeah, so I just want to get the lighting a little bit more accurate so we can really see like how dark the talons are. Very dark, and there's that, and like I said, there's that black rubber there, you know. And I feel like, I mean, let's just start off easy. Let's just keep it neutral. No blue. Okay? We're just going to make black and white come together. And we're just going to draw some lines using the heart pool. Okay? And those are big, it's a big detail, okay? So we're probably going to go back and forth a little bit more black now. So I'm going back inside the recesses with some black. You know, just so we can see what's going on in there, but just add a little bit of ridge detail there. And I'm just trying to decide if we can leave it black, which is like what we normally do. Let's add a little bit more highlight. And I'm just trying to get maybe a little bit of intrigue down here at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of following the curvature. It's not easy because like that thumb is, the fingers are getting in the way. So going back to black again. Trying to smooth that out. And that might ride. It might ride like that. You know? Let's just make sure that we do a little bit of our due diligence here. And put a little highlight on these little boxes right here. So that at least if you look in, you see like, hey, he did something inside too. Yeah, that'll ride. I think. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Really trying to justify this. What do you guys think? Maybe I need to sneak more blue in on this. What if I took some water, some sky blue, lower the opacity like crazy? right? So I got a little blue filter here. And maybe I can bring this in here. Bring it into that for a little bit more of a steely blue. So it's like a 5% opaque filter of sky blue right over the grayscale that we just did. So now, oh yeah, okay. So that, I think that's changed the gauntlets now to be enough different. Okay, that's the trick. That's the trick. Let's get a little bit of white in here. Reinforce some of our white. Pow, son. Your boy. Okay, I like that. So that rides with our non-metal metallic theme. And it's got a bluing effect. I like that. Pop Goes the Monkey says, go with red talons. Then you can keep the black palms. Red is just not going to ride. It's just not inside the theme, you know what I'm saying? Like, bright red talons, like, opposed by blue, it's not bad, but it starts to get really on the nose, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you can do, like, super muted red, but then it's harder to sell the non-metal metallic feeling, you know? So, I think it's better to just, you know, it's black rubber. You can see it, but you can also see his talons. So sometimes, you know, not everything has to be in, like, it's okay to be black on black, like in this situation, as long as you can still see the black. You know, and if you really wanted to shift something, you can shift that black to a green, if you wanted to make it like green rubber, you know, which would look kind of like this. So you get a little green down here, same trick. Lower the opacity, same deal. And now what you do is you just kind of drag this over the highlights again. And now we're saying that is like, you do that a couple times and you just start kind of embedding a green feeling into the black. And it would look different. You said that before I added the blue claws. The blue to the claws. The black and black is fine. That's right, Corbett. I bypass it. So that claw looks sick. That claw looks sick. So let's see if we can take the lessons learned from this claw and apply it to this claw faster. Okay? So we've got black and white and a hair. I just pulled the hair into there. Black, white, blue. So this is our gray, okay? More black over here. So same deal. If they're cylinders, we're just going to rotate it to be like a cylinder. And we're going to say, okay, this one has actually got a different. Okay, so if it's the same as that side, highlight here, 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 here. And I think it's safer to do the talons before we edge highlight the trim anyway. Okay, kind of embedding the same vibe. Let's run it back to black right here. Okay, let's rinse it. Let's get a little bit more white in our mix. Using the art pull. Get those lines put in. Probably going to sneak an extra line right here on this thumb. Let's see if we can blur this just a little bit. So we're going to get kind of that color match concept. I'm going to blur off this line here a little bit deeper. Even that black in there. So this is just kind of a wetter version of our first highlight. To get a nice blurring going. Okay, let's put in some cleaner edge highlights now. So we're going to pull more white into the mix. Okay, and now we got to be careful. High opacity, low moisture. And careful your tip penetration. But I'm doing this before I do the pin washing because I have a feeling I'm going to mess this up a little bit. And so this way, the pin washing will be my eraser tool. Like I messed it up right there. We gotta get the back sides. This is always tricky. Not as tricky as I thought over here. That'll be the tricky one right here. Where this finger is above and below things. Okay, so we want to sharpen it a little bit more before we worry about the pin wash. So let's get more white. And we also still have to do this. We have to get this box. And this is more of a heart pull. Sneak in here. Okay, more white. We're gonna try to pop it out one last time, and then we'll try to repair with some pin wash strategy. Mess that up. Mess that. So we're just going a little bit harder. Okay, now let's see if we can do some repairs real quick. Starting with going back to some black. We're going to use the black, semi-opaque, and a little wet to go back into these segments. And lift them off of each other a little bit more. Now, look at some of my lines got kind of off kilter in here. So we're going to just use our eyes and kind of visually reset up the highlight I think was there before I messed it up and try to repair it. Right there. Semi-opaque and just a little wet. Now here we've got a pretty vicious viewing angle that we don't have on the other side. So we got these extra boxes that we have to think about right here. So you got to make sure that that whole box gets edge highlighted, you see? And because of the posture, you can get you see the inside of the claws here more. Where on the other side, we didn't really have to do anything on the inside. But since because of the way you're looking at it, you got to make sure that the viewer is seeing that edge highlight on both sides of that finger. See? That's the issue with effects. This effect is a 2D effect that makes things look kind of shiny, but it's applied to a three-dimensional surface. So you got to be thinking about multiple viewing angles. Okay, now let's try this final trick. Let's take some blue, which we've been using blue and the gray the whole time, but now we're going to take it, lower the opacity with water. Take some of that excess moisture off. And now we're going to blue it up a little bit, working off the highlights. Using the heart pull, low opacity, and low moisture. So just blew them up. Boom. Lessons learned. Nailed it. Okay. Now again, let's just go for neutral, right? Black and white. No blue. Just make a gray. And let's just carefully use the heart pull strategy. To bring those lines in. I'm going to go just a touch brighter. That one was way easier than the first one. So now right there, what we'll do is we'll rinse again. Okay. Pick up some of that green, because that's what we did last time. We'll take some of the green, lower the opacity. Lots of water. So you got a super low opacity green. Take some of that moisture off and then repaint the highlights. And they're gonna inform that green. So there's a subtle green hue there. And now I'm going to take that opportunity to do my second greening over here. And that'll actually help provide like a more natural rubber feeling. So our claws are looking vicious. Let me get the light down. Not bad. So we were able to go over the non-metal metallic crossfade or tri-blend. Now I feel like while I'm looking at this, I feel like I can do a slightly better job on this. So sometimes because of how weird the angles are, sometimes you just gotta draw kind of like an artificial shine line. So I'm putting one down right there. Alright, fuck it. So we went over the quick tri-blend workup on how to make these panels look like this. We did a quick cylinder highlight on the claws. And we still have plenty of real estate on this guy. Like I said, I'd love to get some of these chains done while I'm messing with grays. So before we worry about, and I still have more. Obviously, we have to blur all this stuff out and finish this gauntlet right here. But since we just did that, rather than repeat myself at this exact moment, let's look at these chains. Okay, now I've got a bunch of blue-gray we made over here. Shout out to 10JK, looks like the follow. And let's just kind of take a look at these chains, and you'll see them popping out as I start to paint them. And what I'm doing is that they're black, okay? I painted them black already. And what I'm doing is just kind of mostly painting them. High opacity, low moisture, tip of the brush. And I'm just kind of mostly painting the chain with this blue-gray and leaving a healthy amount of black behind. You see? By resetting the real estate to black, it lets me just kind of augment these types of details without having to paint it all gray first. I'm just budgeting some of that coal black as volume for these chains. See, just mostly painting the real estate. Blue-gray. And I'm going link by link here. Don't be impatient. Part of this exercise is that we are basically pre-painting a wash, right? Normally you'd be like, oh, I'll just paint it gray, then wash it black. Well, by doing what I'm doing, we're leaving all those dark borders intact as we're building it up. So we're just in control of it, you see? So it's kind of like it's gray with black, but it's much better than a black wash would be. So now we'll take some more white and we'll be totally willing to just pop. Ping, ping. See that? I mean, this is totally not a non-metal metallic effect. All we're doing is painting these chains gray and putting a ridiculous near white highlight kind of on the top of some of them. Okay? But it's starting, your brain is like, yeah, I'll buy it. You know, like it's an effect. It's not real. This works because I left so much black in the real estate. Remember I said earlier, the more black you're willing to go in the shadow and the more white you're willing to go in the highlight, the more shiny it looks. So those look shiny. They're in the shape of chains. And there's all this other non-metal metallic effects on there. So the viewer is just like, yeah, that's metal. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just a shiny effect. This is what we're going for. High opacity, low moisture, sewing machine mode engaged, some stippling right here. And now we've got some chain action in there. And that was already a blue-gray. Like, we made a blue-gray on those. Like that. Now, up here, we've got these deals. So I probably can do the same thing here. Okay. Black, white, blue. But these are definitely cylinders. So let's get the caps real quick. And I like something that's not just gold like the rest of it. Let's come straight down. Okay. So I'm not going to make these harder than they need to be. I was just going to paint the top gray for now. Drag a line down the center. Okay. And from there, we can add more white and just carefully deploy a quick tracer technique. See? We'll just kind of make sure the outsides of those things are bright like that. Like on the spike, the initial like spearhead. A little brighter. Okay. Same thing on the chain, like we did on the chains. Let's put just a little ping right here. The coupling right there. Now, is there a bevel on these? What am I looking at here? Yeah, I think there is. This might be hard. If there's a center bevel, you definitely want to drag a line down it. Now, because we've isolated that spearhead, Marm, thanks for the follow, we've kind of got to get the bottom kind of done too. And so that's kind of important. Just side note, is once you've kind of isolated a region, you kind of even have to kind of fake a border. Like that. A little more white. No blending at all. Like, just some quick edge highlight strategies, and it looks shiny now. See? Here's a chain right here I totally missed. Let's get our blue-gray out. Okay, we're going to go link by link. Using the tip of our brush. High opacity, low moisture. Kind of connected to that shoulder. Okay, let's get ready to pop it out. We're getting much whiter. Pop, pop, pop. That'll ride. No need to sit there and toil over it for 1,000 seconds. Nobody will ever criticize that doesn't look tight enough. You know what I'm saying? Yo, is that my dude right there? Pop goes the monkey. That's actually the sponsor of this model right here. Pop goes the monkey. It says Long John Silver's. Long John, that non-metallic Silver's. Nice. Hush puppies, bitches. Hush puppies. Nice. Nice. Can I get some strong man love in the chat for Pop Goes the Monkey? Shout out to him for providing us with these models to put out in gift bags and to paint here on the show on this month ender, guys. Now, my man Matt over here. Okay, so we've got a couple. I'd like to get this viewing angle just like kind of knocked out real quick before our whip session. So, okay, let's go back real quick. This will be fun. This is not as fun. Let's finalize, if you don't mind, Matt. Right here. Let's go back in time a step, guys. Remember, it's just some ochre and some black and white. Okay, and then that ochre gets blacker or it gets whiter. Okay, that's everything. That's all this. That's all the gold, quote unquote. So let's just kind of split the difference right here. Oh, maybe a little orange in there. Don't forget to put a little orange in there. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just drawing little lines against the tide line. And what we're doing is just kind of moving the tide line around to make it look like it's blurred, like cell shading. Okay? And we'll take it to a little bit more yellowy white place. Right there. Okay. Up here. Let's push that one back. So we're just pushing them back. Semi-opaque. Let's grab a little bit more of that whiter mix. Right there. That's it. Disco, when I was a kid, Long John Silver was still good food. Was it? Like what? The 60s? Let's grab a little white. Get a highlight going here. High opacity, low moisture. What we're going to do is going to run on this bevel right here with a tracer technique. Just hold your breath, swing it from right to left. Rotate the model. And we still got to finish the white field in there. This will be a huge fucked up a little bit there. This will be a big milestone on this guy when we get this arm done right now. Even though I feel like I just painted this arm, because I did, I need to just do it right now, even though I'm bored of the arm. Keep rotating the model to keep that line straight, and every now and then you'll fuck up like I just did. It's okay. Play through. High opacity, low moisture. It's always going to be a mistake, so don't beat yourself up or hyper focus on those mistakes. Just know that we have the tools to repair. That's tricky. Because it's kind of hard. I think I can do it from here though. We're able to modify the tracer right there. See if we can get the other side. I doubt it. It's going to be tricky. You have to get both sides of the trim with your highlights if you're trying to make it look like it's metal. Okay, guys? Sneak in right here. A little bit whiter. Right there, guys. A little whiter right there. Pop goes the monkey. Disco says, damn, I'm old, but not that old. Talk about the 80s. You know, back in the 80s, it was healthy most magic. I don't know if I believe you. I remember it always being straight trash. So we're just getting whiter. Remember the rules, guys. The whiter you go and the blacker you go, the shinier it becomes. See? Always move the model. Fight your urges to be lazy. Now up here, we're going to probably need a little help. See, there's always a spot that is kind of hard to access, kind of in between two viewing angles right here. So we got just kind of a disaster right here. So right here, we're going to kind of just have to throw down a little bit more love right here. And then we're going to have to just kind of fake the lines, just kind of draw them in. And then kind of just repair them every time we fuck them up. Okay? So we got to see if we can sneak in a little further right here. We got to get all those nuts too. Then we got to clean up a couple of edges. Oh, right there. You have to kind of go back in time. Kind of fix that. Mo's Magic, when have I ever lied to you about anything? And why on earth would I choose to lie about John Silver's? Fair. Fair. More Pigment, though, says cigarettes were healthy in the 50s. Okay, let's get a little pin washing going here, guys. A little water. Let's get some black, some orange, get something kind of dark. Semi-opaque, a little wet. Let's make sure our nuts are reinforced. I'm gonna wash the nuts. I know I did this already, but we undid it. Okay, you want to get all that black off the brush, dry the brush off, and you want to pick up some white, maybe some ochre, high opacity, low moisture. You want that nice dry tip. You want to use the stippling technique. Just want to touch those nuts. Like so. Shout out to Rottweiler in chat. Also, Love Minnie's song is playing right now. I just realized he says, I'm leaving the stream to go to Long John's in White Castle. Whew, that's going to be rough on your tummy. Okay, there's a little bit of a sloppy line right here. But before I fuck with that line, maybe I'll do it. Hold on. Kind of use your eyes. Kind of just do your visual match right here. Okay. Let's pull some black into it. See, we got a little bit on his finger right here. Okay, let's pin wash the white real quick while we're on a roll. So let's just take some black and white. Make a light gray. Might be a little dark. So we're making a gray. And maybe a little, maybe I had it right. And we're going to just draw a border inside this field here. You want to be careful. Use the heart pull. Run it into the gutter. Semi-opaque and just a little wet. And we're using a very light gray to respect the white. Black would be such a mistake. I see people doing that. That gives us a nice border between the trim and the actual armor panels. Like so. And now you want to rinse all that gray. Rottweiler Godspeed. And now we want to take some white, keep the opacity high, keep the moisture low. Okay. You want to just draw some opposing highlights with the heart pull technique. Rotate. Straight back, okay? Rotate.
It's so damn hot. Milk
Rotate.
was a bad choice.
Keep rotating. Who dat? Is that Rottweiler? Rottweiler, check it out. Rotate. Rotate. All those rotations are why I'm not fighting it. That's why it's just happening. When you do a bunch of edge highlighting and you get sad because you feel like you're fighting it constantly, a lot of times it's because you're just not moving the model. The easiest way to draw a straight line is like this. That. Anything else moves your hand too much. You see? So you want to get the model into the position so you can just keep doing this. See? That's it. That's the trick. And that's the heart pull. We teach that in a lot more detail in our private classes. That's the tracer. That's the heart pull. Run it back. Tracer. Let me run it back to Rottweiler first. He says, and as I need to follow protocol, fuck you, Frozen. Competing in Lansing in 5 days, and Manic will be there. Who took top at Motor? Hashtag gonna get my ass kicked. What's Lansing? Is it another GT? Shout out to War Pigment. Says top 4. Oh, that just puts you in the top 4. Shout it out. But you see, look at how easy it is to draw those lines. People think, white's so hard, but really all we did was airbrush it almost white and then edge highlighted it white and put just little gray lines in there. And look how sick that armor looks. Okay, so what I would like to do after the whip session, guys, which let's do a whip session exclamation point minutes. Making sure our Corn Berserker looks good. Our Corn Blood Butcher. Okay, so right out the gate. Let's figure out these spikes protruding from his armor. Maybe bone? This could be a good opportunity to get some... God damn it, what's going on over here? This could be a good opportunity to get some ivory on the palette. Let's see what I got over here. Where's my ivory at? That's right, skulls. We gotta get the skulls. Huh. Looking. There's some specific colors. Let me see. I'm gonna put some brown. There's some yellow. So what I'm thinking here is we can probably just get some brown, yellow, white. Probably just quickly paint these dumb cones real quick. And so I just yellowed up the brown and then made it brighter. And so it's kind of a similar spectrum to the gold that we've done already, except it's not nearly as desaturated because we used a true brown umber and straight bright yellow. So it's not like we made it gray and then we made it brown. Okay. And now what we're going to do is take that color and we're just going to get whiter, maybe yellow, more yellow cream. So basically I already made an ivory. And we're just going to paint it pretty much straight up, leaving a little bit of that dark brown at the bottom. And we're just using the heart pull, just kind of going with the grain. Like so. And now let's be willing to go whiter. And now I'm going to try to get a little bit more detail oriented here. Where I'm actually trying to put lines on it now. See that? So we're using the heart pull. Just try to drag a line straight up. You rotate, so you're basically trying to put like a kind of like a dual face white line on it. Just from that one viewing angle. And if you want to go even whiter, you can. Just at the top. Like so. Shout out to my boy Recoil. Oh wait, hold on. We still... Did Rottweiler just give 5 more subs to the channel? Is this another round of subs or is it the same round? Oh, it's another round of subs. Rottweiler, 500 bonus. Yo, dogs, Rottweiler supporting the fuck out of the stream tonight. If you just got gifted a sub because Rottweiler's a legend, show him some love. And in the pipe, Recoil has indeed supported the show. Appreciate that, Recoil. Now, let's take some black. And let's just make sure that the coupling here is clean. There we go, because there was a little blue on that one. Take a little white, make it straight gray. And Recoil, thank you so much for the support. We just put a couple little gray highlights there. Feeling good about that. We framed that in. Now, since I am messing with this fake ivory, and thank you, Russ, for the resub, brother. Russ, Recoil, 2 legends. So we made this kind of fake ivory. Whoops. A lot of black in there. So we use this brown, this yellow, this white. And what I want to do here is I want to see if I can go in here. And you could probably just lightly dry brush these skulls. Like, there's enough texture in there you could probably get away with that, but I like to go harder than that. So I'm just kind of feeling it out. So I'm working on the eyebrows and a little curve on the top of their skull. See that? I'm just doing that on all of them right now. And we're using high opacity, low moisture, guys. Tip of the brush. And just want to be aware of how much moisture's on that tip. You don't want to soak it. Using mostly a stipple technique right there, and then a little heart pull, some stipples. Rotate the model. See? And we're just, by putting those little lines on the skulls, we're just popping them out a little bit, right? Revealing some of their features. The wash did most of the work. Got a little heinous over there. It's okay, though. Thing is, you don't want to slack on this shoulder pad. That shoulder pad is a premium piece of real estate, okay? That detail in there is crucial to this sculpt. So, you know, as much as I want to be like, oh, a little light dry brush on these skulls, these skulls are kind of like the point of this guy, you know? So I want to do something a little bit better. See? So I want to spend that extra just few minutes showing those skulls just a little bit more love than a dry brush would do. Now we got these ones right here. See, and this one is big, so you can kind of just hit it all. And I want to do like an inner brow ridge right there. Rotate this way. Yo, the red one's coming in. There's 2 of them, by the way. And it says, sorry we haven't been around as much this month. Looking forward to getting back into the regular hobby time once all packed, all the packing and moving is done. Have you guys even packed yet? God, that's a nightmare. Let me get some strong man and woman love for the red ones, the Canadian super duo, the power couple. The red ones, here we go. So just kind of framing it out. We're about 75% packed. Yikes. How many nearly relationship ending fights have occurred due to packing? Zero packing fights so far? Oof. Good. I'm going to get a little bit more white, guys. I'm going to try to get a little bit more detailed here. And just stipple down. And I'm going to try to treat it like a bit of a dry brush now, where I'm going to just drag it on the nose and the teeth. So instead of getting my tip reset, I'm letting it be a little too dry. Using this tiny brush to just drag a little dry brushing technique down. Try to deploy just a little bit of definition on those skulls. Rottweiler just gifted 5 more subs to the chat. Good lord, Rottweiler. What a fucking beast. 500 more Yodogs for Rottweiler? The red one says it helps when you both get so tired of packing that you just dump it in a fucking box. I wish that was my life. Popkins Mikey, come on. They're Canadians. They got it. I guess that's true. Guess that's true. Same thing. Down here. Now, it'd be nice to go a little darker as well. Did Rottweiler do it again? No, we're still existing in that. Good job. Good job. We got about 10 minutes left, guys, in our top D giveaway tonight. Gonstan Just is on top. Thank you guys for your support. Let's take this brown. Let's grab some black. Maybe some of that brown. Maybe a touch of the orange. Okay. And let's get a nice border here, okay? Like we're just gonna really dramatize how dark that border is. Okay. so that we can kind of lift the trim off of those skulls, as you can see right there. From Amber with love. Shout out to Amber. Let's get some Amber hype in chat. Same thing right here, guys. Semi-opaque and a little wet. You might end up having to reestablish some of your highlights on the gold. Because as we get closer to the trim, we may end up wiping out some of our highlight. But you see, it's really snaps the frame out when you put that in there. You see that? You might want to take a little bit of this, maybe thin it down a little bit more. And anywhere the skulls look like they can use a little bit more definition between them, you can send it in. You see? Semi-opaque and just a little wet. And now you can see those skulls a little bit easier. Same thing down here.
And his name is John C.
Woo! Frozen Hobbit coming in with that love. $10. Thank you so much. Showing some love. You can't see that, man, guys. With 6.5 minutes left in our show. This is our month ender. Exclamation point Hellforge, guys. Giving away the biggest, baddest model we've painted on the show. I don't think it gets bigger. I don't think we've done bigger to completion. Hellforge Colossus, signed. Looking for a home tonight. Whoever the top D is wins this. We're gonna be packing. We have so much shipping to do now that the holiday's over. All these gift bags are going out. Top D Grand Prix, everything tonight. Warg. Hashtag Dirty Mike Life, exclamation point Prius in chat for my boy Warg. Thank you so much. 5.5 minutes left. Let's take a second to rebuild any highlights that got deteriorated, right? So get a little white. And here on the trim, want to make sure it's nice and bright on that shelf. And we may have deteriorated a little bit of that when we were doing the pin washing. See? Just rebuild it nice and tidy. I love it. So we've got our skulls like just warm enough and just off white enough that we can buy them as like bone, right? And have it not just get lost in the fact that this guy's armor is white. So that's the major challenge, right? Is that if this guy was red, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But since we want that pre-heresy style, we had to make those decisions, you know? My man Neezy, Matt OTP, HGZ in chat. What's up, brother? Just finished his 2K Emperor's Children today. Or maybe yesterday. LT coming in says, yo, dog, just let me know if you need some more time to finish painting tonight. You mean some overtime? I'm always down to take some overtime, baby. LT, the legendary troll in chat. Okay, let's think about this pipe. Okay, so we can do this pipe black for sure. I think that rides. So what we can do is go back to our black, white, blue workup. Okay, and this pipe is just a cylinder. So all we have to do is kind of just run this highlight down the middle. And like, just don't blend it. You know what I mean? That's like kind of the trick. Okay, set it up like that. Like that. See, just with that line, it already looks cool. A few more tricks though. A few more tricks of these sleeves. So there's two sides, don't forget that. We haven't done anything back here yet, as you can see. Classic paint one side of the model situation. Yo, with a minute and a half left, LT just reset the clock, putting us in overtime officially. Oh, wait, that's right. I'm supposed to wait until the time is running down. That would totally stress out people competing for the top D. I must have been focused on Rob, ROBB, the epic poop rapper. Gotta get some strong man. Love in the chat for LT. We are in overtime on this month ender giveaway. Thank you guys for supporting me this month. And if you find value in my content, I appreciate that support so much. We're going to come in a little brighter, guys. And we're going to paint the tide line between the black and the white, or the gray. Don't worry. If you mess it up a little bit, it's not the end of the journey. Okay? With a minute 30 on overtime. See? Now there's a coupling right here. And so at some point we are going to have to isolate these little ridges. So that's the tricky part with a minute left. Let's see what we can do. Yo, Grazer. He's looking for Trogdor, got Moonman.
You gotta get swifty in here. It's time to get swifty. Uh-oh. You gotta get swifty. Oh, yeah.
Can I get some strong man living in the chat for Grazer, one half of the original Canadian duo, coming in here. Keeping the overtime clock alive, 2 minutes back on the clock. What we're trying to do, guys, is put little lines on the tops of these things. Rotate over here, get this coupling. Rotate back this way. You see, just by painting like 2 sets of lines down that pipe and then the few edge highlights, it kind of looks like it's made of metal now. Kind of weird. Moonman is second best, Grazer says. I agree with you, brother. About a minute and 19 left in the big giveaway for the month ender. Let's take a little black. And we can use this to clean up anything we don't like. Down blue side. We can also use this to get back inside any of these couplings that we're not happy with. Like over here, you can see I got a little too deep right here. Reset LT. Oh, I think I figured it out now. Troll for the troll god. Poop for the ceramic throne. LT, my dude, thank you so much for the support and the reset. About 2 minutes left to get on the final 4. Jump out for the Hellforged Colossus. We're going to see what we can do with those 2 minutes because of LT. Oh shit. Love minis. We got love minis. Throwing a reset down on the clock. Says, I do not know. Love minis, we're doing the same thing we did on the other side, just hitting those borders.
Ooh, baby, I like it, girl. Yeah, baby, I like it.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
Oh shit, okay, a lot just happened.
Your dicks on the car as you're running away. We are gonna have sex in your car.
53 Marine just threw down 99.9. He jumped to the top D. Recoil just threw down for 13. He is triggering the hashtag Dirty Mike, but 53 Marine does like it raw, so can I get an exclamation point raw in chat? 1 minute, 55 seconds, still on overtime. And what we need to do now, Recoil and 53 Marine, is grab a little black and fix anywhere inside these little couplings that we let our highlight touch. Like that. Thank you guys for the overtime extension and the funds. I do appreciate the shit out of that. And look, there's a little spike here. I don't know. It's weird. That thing is kind of silly. Why are these on here? Carnage King! Swear to God. 53 seconds left. Why did he put these on here? Fucking need to have a real talk with this guy. 30 or 35 seconds left. Got some nice pipes now. Gon's just reset it. That mini is definitely worth more, plus I need more Yodogs. Gon's the unjust, thank you for your support, my dear friend. Thank you so much. Are those skulls pasties? Yes, Cletus. LT, I wonder if 53 Marine knows the CH 53 Marine brothers and all that. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe ask the dude. I don't even know what that shit is. I'm assuming you Army or Marine people know what that shit is. Military people. I was like, I know they're not Army people. Sorry. Let's see if we can get a little bit more white in here, though. Just a little shinier. With a minute 24 on overtime because Gon's the unjust. this dumb little pyramid cone right here. Why? Why does just because you're zoomed in on your fucking 3D design program doesn't mean you should put a microscopic cone here, Carnage King. Also, can we ever talk about how many fucking rivets are on this? Pop Goes the Monkey, you need to get me on a fucking phone call with that guy. 42 seconds left. I know it's a transport. Pretty sure he knows how to fly one. 25 seconds left, and we have gotten our pipe rails to look good. Maybe we have 20 seconds, so let's see if we can maybe get some more white and our fake ivory going over here real quick. 12 seconds. Ooh, don't know. Three, two, one. Gone's the Unjust. Thank you, brother. I'm going to get some strong man love in chat for that support. Gone's the Unjust. Quilla. Quilla said the CH-53 is a transport chopper used for the Marines. Rode in many. It's told. Oh, sorry, it was Aquila. It's told every time. If shit's leaking, that's fine. If not, that's when we have an issue. Yikes. Yikes. Pop Goes the Monkey says, sorry, started laughing too much to respond. Too many problems and 99 rivets is one. I've got 99 problems. They're all fucking rivets. Like, we just don't need this many. Big one, big one, big one. Fucking call it a day. What the hell, Carnage King? Right? But then down here, it's big one, big one, big one. Huh. Little inconsistent, Carnage King. Trying to fucking make me have a meltdown? Almost like he wants me to go crazy. All right.